So Matthew Perry died from the acute effects of ketamine, right? So the Los Angeles Medical Examiner just released that Matthew Perry's autopsy showed that he had high levels of ketamine in his blood, and the headline now that's playing out is that Matthew Perry died due to ketamine. So this is amazing clickbait, right? I can see why they did. I was a journalism major. I was my undergrad. So, I mean, it's all about getting readers and getting people's attention. So this sounds sexy, right? I mean, he died of ketamine, right? So the question is ketamine unsafe? Right? I mean, is it a safe medication or not? So that's obviously the clickbait. They're trying to get this attention and saying, "Ooh, wow, ketamine is this dangerous medication and whatnot." But let's take a look at the facts on this, right? So when you look at other things, you could ask yourself, are pools safe? Well, I mean, it's estimated 4,000 people a year drown in pools and die. You could ask, are bicycles safe? Well, you look from data from the National Safety Council, and 1,230 people died on bicycles in 2021. When you ask, are opiates safe? Narcotics, Vicodin, Percocet, all this. I don't need to tell you all this, right? I mean, this comes from the CDC, where they estimate 44 Americans overdose and die every day on prescription opiate medications. Those are medications that are prescribed by licensed providers. We're not talking about heroin. We're not talking about stuff on the street. This is prescribed stuff. So when you get this headline saying, "Oh, Matthew Perry died of ketamine," well, let's dive into this a little bit more. So the facts from what I'm reading on the papers in the various articles are that he was in his hot tub and apparently ingesting or injecting. I don't know what the route of administration was, but in one way or another, he was getting ketamine into his system and he was in a hot tub. Right? So is ketamine to blame for that? Is utilizing ketamine while you're in a hot tub a good idea? Let's play this out a little bit. Let's imagine a commercial airliner where both pilots decide they're going to inject themselves with ketamine just prior to takeoff. They finish their pre-flight checklist, they're taxiing out the runway, they're going to inject themselves with ketamine. Well, how's that going to play out? Right? How is that going to work? Is that a good idea? Is ketamine dangerous in that regard? Well, yes. It's dangerous in that setting, right? I mean, but if you write a headline saying, airliner crashes due to ketamine, no, it was not due to ketamine. It was due to the inappropriate decision to utilize ketamine in a completely uncalled for way in this hypothetical example. So again, I'm not trying to harsh on Matthew Perry. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. I mean, from what I hear about his struggles with addiction and whatnot is horrible. He probably got himself into a situation where he, thought it might be a good idea for whatever reason. Unfortunately, it went the wrong way. But in this case, unfortunately, we can't blame ketamine. We have to blame the decision that Matthew Perry did to use ketamine in a way that's not appropriate. Right. So this gets back to my concerns that you'll see in some of my other videos and writings about, some of the home ketamine prescriptions for very large prescriptions. Some of the patients we've treated, we've gotten records from some of these other entities, some of the mail order entities where people will be prescribed 1,600 milligrams of ketamine to take orally in one dose at home. That's not the drug's fault, right? Yeah, ketamine in high doses is an anesthetic. It's an anesthesia agent in high doses. When it's being used for mental health conditions like we're doing in our clinics, Klarisana, it's much, much lower doses, folks, and it's in a controlled environment. So again, we have to make an important distinction as to whether it's ketamine's fault or is it the fault of the person who's utilizing ketamine in a situation that is inappropriate. So that's about all I have to say on that. So thanks so much for watching. And again, I do feel bad for Matthew. None of this is meant to harsh on him. I mean, so many things when I see this on the news, my first thought is, there, but for the grace of God go I. So I'm not harshing on him, but I think it's very important that we don't get caught up in this clickbait sensationalism of American media and start to say that ketamine is not appropriate, not safe. Ketamine, we've seen with over 20 years of studies of what it can do for treatment of mental health conditions, for PTSD and whatnot, and save people's lives, is a very, very safe medication.